Today on Yester Kitchen, we are going to celebrate a cookbook author that was huge in the 70s and 80s. And I'm going to share a recipe from my childhood. You're going to love it. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Jill and this is Yester Kitchen. If you're new here, welcome. It would be an honor to have you join us as we explore retro history through food. Okay, so today I've got something new for you. We're going to start celebrating some cookbook authors. And today we are going to talk about Renny Darling. Not only did she have the most awesome name, but she was just an incredible, incredible cookbook author. She created hundreds of recipes that are just easy, delicious, and here's one of her cookbooks, The Love of Eating. And there she is. I'll show you a picture here, but you can see it up there a lot better. So Renny Darling, by about 2012, had published about 17 cookbooks, which would bring her to about 83 years old right now because she was 75 back then. Her cookbooks were so enormously popular, especially she has The Love of Eating. She has, well, here's a few others that she has. We'll make it easier for you. And this cookbook was in my home, and there was one particular dish that was always requested and so good, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So Renny started out with a cooking column in a newspaper, and she became very popular very fast. And one day one of her friends said, hey, why don't you take all these recipes you're publishing and make a cookbook? And in 1975, she did. And it was a huge success, so she kept writing cookbook after cookbook about all kinds of things. And as a kid, I remember always seeing one of her cookbooks in all my friends' houses. So it was just, she was huge. And today we're gonna make a great dish from my childhood and right out of this book. So from 1978, let's make chicken in sour cream mushroom sauce. It is so good. It's got the tiniest bit of alcohol in it, so it has that back flavor. Let's get started. I can't wait. So I have my oven on 325. It's a low oven, and I have all kinds of chicken thighs. So you can use your favorite. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I love thighs. But you can use all drumsticks. You can take the whole chicken and cut it apart and do that. You can do whatever you want. You just want about 3.5 pounds of chicken. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do was we are gonna take a 1/4 cup of melted butter and a 1/4 cup of oil. I have canola. You can use olive if you want, but I think it's gonna change the flavor of the sauce. So I have just a very neutral flavored oil. You can use vegetable oil too. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that oil and pour it right into the butter. And now we're just gonna give it a teeny weeny little stir and put it aside. Okay, now we're gonna take our chicken thighs. Mine have skin and bones. If you want boneless, you can easily do that, and skinless, we're just gonna adjust the cooking time for you because you're certainly not gonna need to cook your chicken as long if it doesn't have bones. So let me get all this chicken into my pan. And now the first thing we're gonna do is I have a couple tablespoons of garlic salt. You don't need to I just start with a lot, but really what you wanna do is you just wanna kind of sprinkle all the chicken until it's pretty evenly coated. I'm saving it, we're not done yet. Then you're gonna take some flour. I've got about a tablespoon here. You just wanna sprinkle it very lightly. You don't wanna dredge because we are gonna use more flour later to thicken our sour cream sauce, which, oh my God, you guys, it's amazing. Now I'm just gonna turn all these over with my impeccably clean hands. And we're gonna do the same thing to the other side because if you have one side seasoned, you definitely want the other side seasoned. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the flour. Just like that. You don't want them battered, which is, if you dredge it, you're gonna get a nice coating. You don't want that. You just want just a little bit. And then we're gonna go back to our garlic salt. And you're just gonna kind of sprinkle that on. So clearly I am not using anywhere near the amount that I put in the bowl or in my little cup here, because you just don't want to over salt. But I'm just looking to make sure that every little piece is covered. Okay, now our oil and butter mixture, we're just gonna kind of pour that around, just like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and turn turn all of our beautiful little chicken thighs or whatever pieces you have over so it kind of coats it all. Do you remember our buttermilk pecan chicken and our friend Chesty? Well, we're using the same method, just kind of flipping them over and rolling them in the pan. And it doesn't have to be perfect. They just need to be turned. So now we're going to bake our chicken for 1 hour and 15 minutes because we are baking our chicken through before we even get started on the sauce. So if you have chicken with the bones like I do, you'll go for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. If you have boneless, you might want to check it around 40-45 minutes. And you just want to make sure it's cooked through. So we will be back when we have cooked chicken and we are going to make this amazing sour cream mushroom sauce. So it's been about 1 hour and 5 minutes. When you cook chicken, you really want it to get to about 165, 170 degrees so it's safe. So I have my handy dandy meat thermometer and I checked it and it's ready to go. About halfway through, I took it out of the oven and I took a spoon and I basted all these juices over the top. My baster broke. If you have one, definitely use it. If not, a spoon is great. Take a look. See, our chicken is just beautiful and I gotta tell you, it smells fabulous. And we have only just begun. So give me 1 second because I'm gonna get these out of the way and I'm gonna bring in a pan and we are gonna make that mushroom sauce. Okay, so this mushroom sauce is what makes the dish. Oh my God, it's so good. So, got my little frying pan and to that, so here's the deal. I normally double the recipe for the sauce because it is so good. I'm gonna have the original recipe down below, but I'll put a little note that if you want double the sauce, you're fine. And I also went ahead and poured out about half of the fat from the chicken because it did create a lot of fat. And we're gonna put a lot of sauce on this. So if you love sauce, follow what I'm doing. If you're just, okay, maybe sauce a little bit, then we're gonna do it, cut it in half, and that will be the recipe down below. Okay, so in my frying pan, I have 3 tablespoons of butter, which we're gonna get all happy and melty. And to that, I'm gonna add 8 ounces, which is normally how the pre-sliced mushrooms come, unless you wanna slice your own, of mushrooms. These are baby bellas. And a half a cup of chopped onions. You wanna chop those pretty fine. And then you just wanna start cooking away until the mushrooms and onions get all soft. So that's gonna take a few minutes. So our mushrooms and onions are almost soft. This just screams childhood to me. I have had it so many times growing up. And I'm sure you have those dishes where, your mom would just make them and every time she would make them, you'd be like, oh yeah. Well, this is one of them for me. I would love to hear what they are for you. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the heat down because we're gonna add some sour cream and we don't want it to curdle. So I'm gonna give that 1 second. While we're doing that, I have about 3.5 tablespoons of flour. If you were gonna do the normal recipe, you would do 2. I just don't like to do a full double on the flour because I think it gets it a little too thick. So we're gonna go ahead and stir it up, and of course it's thickening up exactly like what we want it to, but we want to cook it for about 1 minute or 2 because you want that raw flour taste out of there. Okay, so it's been about 1.5 minutes. So now the next addition, as Renny says, and by the way, she was such a fan of as little time in the kitchen as possible. So really, you can put your chicken in, you've got 1 hour to do whatever. This sauce, as you can see, comes together in minutes. Dinner is served. All her recipes reflect that, and they are so original. So now I'm gonna add 1 cup of, the recipe says extra rich chicken broth. I'm using bone broth because that's pretty darn rich. You can use broth, you can use, if you don't have extra rich, you can just use regular chicken broth. That'll be fine. So into our pan it goes. And we're gonna start stirring that along. 1 cup of sour cream. You were waiting for that, right? Okay. And I have so much fun cooking for you guys. This channel was just started because I just wanted to have fun and I wanted to share my love of retro and my love of food history. And I'm just so honored that so many of you are here to join the ride. I mean, sometimes I'll give you an old school recipe from my childhood, like right now. I love giving history. I love telling the stories behind the dishes. And my new thing is I love talking about cookbook authors. So we're gonna have all kinds of fun this year. Okay, so now we're gonna mix that together, and we're gonna add sorry about that, 3/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And now comes the pièce de résistance. So the original recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of champagne. I'm not gonna open a bottle of champagne for 2 tablespoons. Unless you wanna drink it, then add it. But there's other options. You can add 2 tablespoons of white wine, or you can add 2 tablespoons of sherry. Now, sherry is what I had growing up, and the flavor is phenomenal. But you can add any you like. If you don't drink, just add 2 more extra tablespoons of chicken broth. But like I said, we're doubling everything, so I've got 4 tablespoons of sherry, and that just makes the flavor. Like I said, use any you like because they will all work spectacularly. And now we're just gonna heat this through, but you wanna make sure it does not boil because like I said, the sour cream will curdle. Look at this. Is this magic or what? Okay, give me just a few minutes just to get this heated through. It's been about 3-4 minutes. Take a look. Look at this gorgeous, gorgeous sauce. And yes, actually it tastes better than it looks. It's amazing. So we're gonna get this out of the way and bring back our chicken. And now we're just gonna pour this amazing sauce over the chicken. And I will tell you, another reason I'm double the sauce is because it is gonna be so perfect with rice that you serve with it, or noodles that you serve with it. And you definitely want plenty of sauce. I mean, who doesn't? So now we're gonna take this, we're gonna put it back in our oven, just one more time. And it's still at 325, just for about 10 minutes, so everything can kind of, do that. 10 quick minutes, and we're back. Take a look. Oh my God, you guys. I can't even begin to tell you how good this is. It's rich, it's creamy, but it's not like super, crazy rich. It's just enough. The alcohol taste is not forward. It's in the background because you're really not adding a lot. And oh, it's just amazing. So I'm done talking. Let's serve some up. I actually thought it would taste awesome with this onion rice. You remember onion rice? We just made it, but here's a link just in case you missed it. So here we go. Oh my God. I'm so happy right now because this is just literally my childhood on a plate. And I know for you, you don't taste out there. I'm just gonna taste the sauce because the chicken is really hot. It just takes me back. It's just absolutely fabulous. I hope you give it a try. If you'd like to explore more dishes from your childhood, like me, or just the past, I invite you to subscribe. I release new videos every Tuesday and Friday. In the meantime, there's some more retro dishes for you. And remember, every dish, even chicken in sour cream and mushroom sauce, with a little bit of sherry, has a story. I'll see you in the next video.